Now I'm in the course as an instructor, and you'll see that there are a few more options up here on the nav bar. Noticeably, Quick Eval is the first one that kind of comes to mind, and that's going to be where you do most of your evaluation, which we'll get to in a little bit, but keep in mind that that is up here on the navigation bar. But other than that, we've got pretty much the same exact layout as the students. The course is going to remain exactly the same, but you have a few different options for you. One of them is faculty resources, and you can tell that this is hidden from students in that it has the eyeball with a slash through it. And what this contains are the report a problem and content revision request links, as well as any specific faculty resources needed for a course if there's any specific instructions that are useful for faculty. This, of course, is how you would get in contact with the instructional design if you had any revision requests or if there were any problems that you found. So this is an important one to be able to look at. And then you also have the ability of posting announcements. So if we go back to Course Home, you'll see we have this announcement section. For faculty especially, if you click on the word announcements here at the top, that takes you to the announcements tool. But if you also look in course activity, we have announcements here as our first tool within the toolbar. So that's actually going to take us to this exact same place. What you can do from here is edit announcements, make new announcements. From within the make new announcements, we can record video and audio or attach a file. And this will just allow you to communicate one thing to the entire course and have it show up on every student's course home page, right where we saw the announcements before. You can also, of course, restrict the dates that they're going to show up or add any specific release conditions. And just in general, modify your announcements how you want them to look. This will show you all of the announcements here in the announcements page, regardless of when they're supposed to start. So it might be something that students don't necessarily see, but you can see them and edit them beforehand before they're supposed to show up on students' feeds. If we look at evaluating students, of course we saw how students are going to post discussions. Instructors can also post to discussion boards, but instructors also have the duty, of course, of evaluating both discussions and assignments and perhaps quizzes and just in creating the grades that students will be able to see. And the easiest way to do that, as I had said before, is through Quick Eval. Unfortunately, as I'm not an actual instructor in this course, I'm not going to see anything in this, but once you're enrolled, you're going to have a whole list of students' names, the activities, their submissions, and you can just directly go in there and evaluate them on a one-by-one basis, and they'll be very quick and easy for you. But if that's not the way that you want to go into it, Brightspace does allow a few other options. Perhaps the easiest way is to just go into the activity itself. So if we go into assignments, that brings us to the main assignment page. And you can see we've got a whole list of assignments. We have completed ones, evaluated ones, if there's been feedback published. But you can also see we have here new submissions. And if we click on that new submission, that will actually take us to the evaluation page for that particular submission. The evaluation page is going to have the user submission here on the side, and it's going to have a grading rubric. So this rubric is one where you just need to slide and make sure that you have selected what you think is the best analysis for the student, and it's going to give them the maximum number of points for that particular area. But you can also go in here and adjust that manually on each of the different criteria, as well as here in the overall grade section if you think that it didn't quite give you enough. This also allows you to upload a file, record audio, record video, or just give overall feedback to the students so that they can see it on a larger basis. And in general, once you've done, just press publish, and that'll publish it straight to the student's gradebook. And as we saw within their grade view, they'll be able to see that directly. So that's really what you're going to see with the view. And that's kind of an important thing. Whenever new submissions come in, you'll be able to see them here on the assignments page. Discussions, however, are slightly different, as they always are. And that's going to be this little blue number is going to be unread posts. And so those are ones that if you need to go and determine whether or not a student has done their job or assess a student, you can just click on that, and similar to the assignments page, it's going to take you into the exact thread. So if we go reply to thread, that'll allow us to reply directly to the student. We can also assess the topic from here, or we can go back to our main topic and assess the student from their thread that they posted. And that will take us to the discussion evaluation panel. This one is a little bit different, and we've got kind of the larger rubric just within this panel, but it works fundamentally the same. Just click on where you think they've achieved. You'll see the post down on the bottom, and then update the grade, and that's going to update the grade for them within the gradebook. So the last thing I want to point out that's important for instructors to be able to see is this class list tool. As the name implies, class list is basically a list of all of the students within your class, but it also gives you somewhat of an ability to message with them, flag them if they're falling a little bit behind, as well as view their progress within the course. And so if you view their progress in the course, that really is a tool more for student support, and that it shows if somebody hasn't logged in or if they've not actually been keeping up with the assignments. But it also is useful for instructors to be able to just kind of come and make sure that they've graded all of the things that have submitted. So this is really everything that we have right now, ability-wise. Turnitin is still going to be stood up within this environment, as well as a few more of the insights tools that will be useful primarily for student support and other staff. We hope this was useful to just illustrate some of the navigation techniques that students and instructors will be using within Brightspace, as well as get an understanding of a lot of the tools that we have access to that are really helpful here within our Brightspace environment.